2023 was a historic year for video games. We had blockbuster titles and massive games across the board, but make no mistake, there is no doubt that Nintendo was absolutely the publisher and developer of the year based off of the content. We're gonna break that down in addition to a few surprises that I didn't expect and I know you guys want to talk about. But before we get into that, what's good everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch RPG news, live streams, and more first as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this because the publisher of the year, developer of the year for 2023 has to be Nintendo. Now, there's been years where we've talked about this when it comes to some years where it's Sony, they have multiple games, or even if it's Xbox in 2021, people talk about they were Metacritic Publisher of the Year, and all of that is fine and dandy. At the end of the day, it's all games, it's all content for us. I have all the systems, it's cool. I pretty much play everything at this point because I want to experience the best in gaming. Now, I've been a multi-platform gamer for decades now, so whatever comes to any other system, I'm completely fine. But this year, it was crazy for Nintendo. We're gonna break down the sheer insanity in terms of what they had. Now, it's not all sunshine, peaches, and rainbows. There were some lowlights when it comes to Nintendo's Metacritic scores or fan reception, but at the end of the day, if you look at everything in its totality, Nintendo's 2023 was absolutely crazy and could rival or kind of get into the stratosphere, into the area of 2017, which Nintendo had a phenomenal 2017. They had a great 2019 as well. Now let's just start off at the beginning of the year. We're gonna run down the games here, then we're gonna get into some shocking news overall. So Fire Emblem Engage came out earlier in the year. It has an 80 Metacritic. It got some great DLC as well. So you had Fire Emblem Engage plus the DLC. Then shortly after that, in February, you had a shadow drop of Metroid Prime Remastered, one of the best games of all time, one of the best GameCube games being remastered, and a really high quality remaster where the graphics just look so much better. You can play Metroid Prime on the go or at home. That was fantastic. 94 average on Metacritic. Then shortly after that, you had Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which took a really good Kirby game that people kind of forgot about on the Wii, brought it back, you got your multiplayer, and they added in new segments, plus it looks better than ever. So there's new content, looks great, runs great. This is great. It's good to see these old Wii games or some of these old titles coming back. And Kirby, it's fun just to play. It's a cool, relaxed game to just chill out and play. Next up, they had a publishing deal with Sega and Platinum Games for Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. This surprised a lot of people because people didn't expect much from this. It's not the big Bayonetta style action game that we're used to, but that was an 81 on Metacritic and had a great twist fleshing out Bayonetta's story and the franchise overall. I was surprised on how engaged I was with the story. Then after that, we had Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp with an 82 on Metacritic. Once again, bringing back this old school flavor, these old games that have not been updated. You put online multiplayer in there, you put both of them together in a nice package. Now, I'm not gonna give Nintendo too much credit on this one in terms of 2023 because this game was delayed for the longest time. Should have came out like what, a year or two ago or something like that. But still, it was a 2023 game and it's still really good. Now, after that is something that so many people slept on, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. When I say that some people slept on, I mean at the major outlets, because this game has a 92 average on Metacritic and it only has like 12 reviews. So this game, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, was a Game of the Year candidate from all of these outlets, right? Game of the Year candidate, and they only got 12 people from these different review sites to review a Game of the Year candidate's DLC to wrap up the franchise, which is why I've stated, and this is going on a little bit of a tangent, why I've stated that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was only picked for the Game Awards because of its Metacritic score, because of its critical acclaim of who they got or outsourced to review the game, because the people that were voting, the main people for a lot of these websites and publications, I don't think they played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because they did not care to review the DLC. That's super good. Usually when you see big games, they get DLC, that DLC will be reviewed in a timely fashion and there will be a lot of reviews. That was not the case with Future Redeem, but either way, it's still one of the best releases of the year and it's fantastic. I love it so much. Easily one of the best games of the year. Then we got The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with its 96 on Metacritic and some shocking information that we're going to talk about in just a bit for it. And this is my personal game of the year. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys might have it as game of the year as well. Either way, doesn't really matter. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, phenomenal reception, incredible sales, fantastic game, all sorts of cool stuff. And this game pretty much, to me, wrapped up the Zelda team and wrapped up kind of like what Nintendo wanted to do on the Switch. Get that out, get that done, ready to go. And then after that, it's kind of all systems go for the next system in terms of what they're doing with the next Switch and all that. So awesome stuff. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. After that, we had Pikmin 1 and 2 digital release, then later physical, 79 average on Metacritic, but it's every bit as good as the original GameCube releases, if not even better, bundled together right then and there in HD. I mean, it's better than probably going back and playing it on the GameCube, so still a quality release, and the fact that you have every single Pikmin game on the system is really good, with the exception of the Nintendo 3DS Pikmin game, which is not a real normal Pikmin game. It's more of a 2D spin-off. So awesome stuff there. But speaking of Pikmin, Pikmin 4, 87 on Metacritic, a Game of the Year winner at the Game Awards, winning Best Strategy Game. It's a really good game. They pretty much took everything they learned from Pikmin 1 through 3, added in some new sauce, gave you a doggo, and bam, super great Metacritic score, very highly praised, and fantastic game. I played it a lot myself. Next after this, we have a little bit of the lowlights that I was talking about here, guys. With Detective Pikachu Returns, I did play the game, not necessarily my cup of tea, and a 66 on Metacritic. Obviously, the graphics could have been better. There could have been a lot of stuff that they could have done to make this game better. But for those who do love the lore of Pokemon and wanting to know more about it, there's some enjoyment there, but not necessarily the greatest thing that Nintendo did in 2023. But right after that, we had Super Mario Bros. Wonder, another Game of the Year winner at the Game Awards, winning the Best Family Game and being nominated for a bunch of other categories as well. 92 on Metacritic. Phenomenal game. I'm still playing through the special worlds, but this game is so good. The tightness of the controls, the graphics are fantastic. It runs perfect, looks really good. Portable mode on the OLED, playing on the TV. There's so many different secrets. There's all these different characters. There's a bunch of cool badges. There's some great online multiplayer. There's good local multiplayer. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is that true evolution for 2D Mario games that we've been looking for decades now at this point. So I'm super happy that it came out and it's really good. Then after that, we had a solid title with WarioWare Move It, 75 on Metacritic. People enjoy it quite a bit, kind of like a spiritual successor to WarioWare Smooth Moves from the Wii. And then right after that, we got Super Mario RPG, which has an 84 on Metacritic, and it's fantastic. I love this game. The only thing that's holding it back a little bit is the fact that it's kind of short and kind of easy. The post-game stuff is a lot harder, which is definitely good, but this game could have absolutely benefited from a hard mode and maybe a bit more extra content. But either way, if you play it, you'll know how good this game is. They added in a bunch of cool stuff like the action commands when it comes to like the chain attacks. You've always had the action commands, but the chain attacks and the visual indicators and all the different things that they did with the triple attacks and the moves, that stuff was phenomenal. And I almost sped run this game, man. I was playing it so much, I almost beat it in 2 days or so. So I love Super Mario RPG, and I think that it reinforces the idea that Mario, when it comes to RPGs, is good. You want that. You want an RPG Mario. It's selling really good as well, too. Number 7 on the NPD top sales charts and still a top seller in Japan on Amazon as well. And then we are finishing out here Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Once again, a little bit of a low light because of how Pokemon Scarlet and Violet runs, but when it comes to the actual core Pokemon fans, there's some pretty cool content that they've done in there. They've introduced some new ideas that are very good that people do like with the Indigo Disc and even with the other DLC package. But yeah, obviously Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, they all kind of have a hand in that game necessarily not being as good as it could be for the DLC, but there still is some things in there. But overall, not necessarily a highlight when it comes down to this year, but still content for players to be able to play. So if you look at everything that we went over here, all of this stuff, this is like 15 plus pieces of content for people to play, whether it's a full game or DLC to your existing game to extend the life. It was a banner year for Nintendo. It was a very, very good year overall. And if you look at the surprising thing that I wanted to talk about, I was looking, and obviously Baldur's Gate 3, right? Everybody's kind of giving Baldur's Gate 3 its flowers and its love, and rightfully so. The game is fantastic, huge rating, sold really good, so I'm not hating on Baldur's Gate 3 whatsoever. And it pretty much swept at the Game Awards. I think it lost one category that it was in for the most part. I think narrative or something like that. Alan Wake won. But if you look at IGN's Game of the Year voting, Tears of the Kingdom actually won that, which I was expecting a clean sweep when it comes to most of the major big publications, because there's not that many major publications out there, or publications that are as big as IGN. I was expecting most of the big ones to pick Baldur's Gate 3, but no, IGN actually picked The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is very interesting. Now, according to Brian Altano, a good friend of the channel, good friend of mine as well, he stated that it was very close between Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, and maybe even Alan Wake in there as well. They had a lot of people that were kind of debating back and forth in terms of what it was and their voting, but it's very interesting nonetheless, because Tears of the Kingdom is a game that a lot of people felt, while very good, while very awesome, there's cool stuff, there wasn't maybe enough for them. But if you look at when it comes to like the in-depth or like the hardcore fans, or people that really spent the time to really understand the fuse mechanics and the ultra hand and everything, and they're building these crazy amounts of things that you can do and different stuff, I think it becomes a way better game, and it becomes way more playable when you start really getting the hang of all that. So it's interesting nonetheless. Once again, no hate towards Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate deserves everything. I was just shocked that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom actually won Game of the Year from a major publication like IGN. I was expecting a super Baldur's Gate sweep across the board here. But yeah, very good year overall for games. There was so much stuff here. For me, I actually put my top 25 best games of 2023 Nintendo Switch games. I might do a full list, which includes Microsoft and Sony as well. But for me, 2023 was super memorable because of these three games, and it was Fire Emblem Engage, and we're kind of seeing what a truly optimized Fire Emblem game combat-wise can do with the UI and the fonts and all that different type of stuff. That was awesome. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, having that massive game come out after all of these years, plus Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. It felt like Nintendo was really wrapping up some things that we had questions for a long time, right? Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we've been wanting that sequel for a while. We finally got it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, we've been wanting the resolution to the Claw Saga and everything. We finally got that. So it almost feels like it was a wrap up on a lot of things that I've been waiting for years, for over a half decade on. I've been waiting for Xenoblade to finish up, right? I've been waiting for all these different things, and we finally got that. So it was super exciting to me, at least, plus all the other things sprinkled in. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, finally getting that cool 2D Mario game that reminds me the creativity, the innovation that we got back with Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World or Yoshi's Island. Like, these were all things that I loved back in the day, and I hadn't really felt that for 2D Mario in a very long time up until now. So to see all of that was really good, and to get the reinforcement of a game like Super Mario RPG to come out swinging when it comes to sales, when it comes to the review scores. You have this old Super Nintendo game kind of just coming out and doing what it's doing is just awesome. It's music to my ears, because I've always wanted to see Super Mario RPG back. I've always wanted to see the Mario RPG series back, and Nintendo is doing it back to back with Super Mario RPG this year, 2023, and then next year we've got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It's so good to see that, and I think that these two games will prove that Nintendo made the right decision, or at least they should make the right decision in going in that path instead of making like Color Splash and Origami King, those style of Mario RPG titles. So it was a great year. Let me know in the comment section, what is your favorite game of the year? What were your favorite games? I'd love to look through the comments and read through them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG news, other videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.